Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you've been having a fantastic, insightful first half at the myAvtar Job Fair for Women 2023. I'm Rashmi Ravindran and excited to welcome you all to the final panel discussion for the day on habit breaking. I'm equally delighted to welcome our panelists, Munira Dabhiya, Lead Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, Aditya Birla Capital, and Hemapriya Dharshini, Senior Vice President, Customer Success at Agilisium. I would like to thank our session sponsors, Aditya Birla Capital. Hi, Munira and Hema. Looking forward to a powerful discussion. It is a topic that is relevant to the times that where distractions are at large, communication is scattered, and contacting fellow humans is discretionary. You can be on video mute in a video call. Researchers across the spectrum on food habits, health, be it physical and mental, economics, work opportunities all reveal a disproportionate impact on women, especially post pandemic. Munira, I would like to start with you. What are some of those negative habits that specifically women inherently seem to have that can be detrimental to their careers?
Hi, Rashmi, and hi, Hemapriya. Thank you for having this question for me. Uh, I think there are quite a few, right? I mean, as a woman, I can say that I think to start with is self doubting. It's such a common habit that we start limiting ourselves and start thinking as to are we doing well, is it the right thing I'm speaking. All of those, the smaller nuances of self-doubting really limit our opportunities to grow. And because we self-doubt, we don't even take those challenges on us. We don't want to venture into something new because we are not sure. So I think one of the major hindrance is ourselves on self-doubting. The other one is, I would say, is reluctance to take risk. I think that is something we're not open to. I mean, I'm generally saying all, I'm sure there are women who've taken that and we've seen that, we've had role models. But majority on an average, we see that women do not want to take risk. And that often prevents us from seizing opportunities again. And that hinders our growth. So I would say reluctance to take risk, doubting on ourselves as to or what that hinders our confidence, even communication, right? Like when we see negotiation skills, communication, not being very assertive, how to manage with not aggressive, but how to be assertive to make sure that we get our due recognition and opportunities. That is uh, something that a habit that we continue to dwell in, and there could be multiple reasons because of it, right? We're conditioned to be like that, or we brought up like that. So those are the things that really hinder our growth. And one thing that I think is another one is being perfectionist, right? Overcommitment. If you see, we are all about, yes, we want to do it at 100% or 500%. I think all of us know here that how researchers have also proven that women do not want to take jobs if they think they are not 100% into that. So when it comes to job opportunities, as a woman, if you know that you can take this job and you can do the role to 100%, then only you will apply. Versus a man, they will do it even if they're 60%, they know the job, they will go and apply. So being a perfectionist over commitment, that is also an area that limits us. And those are some habits that I think we have in us and we should look into it. Yes.
Very true, very true. And I think all of us agree. It is definitely something that you brought up. Perfectionism is, I think, a very common, traits that seem to have outlived itself across generations. Even I still see some young girls who are part of the team, still, being a victim, if I can call it that, of that particular trait. So thank you so much for those opening, thoughts on what are those inherent problems that women seem to be facing when it comes to certain habits, that they're born with seemingly. So I'd like to really hear from you, Hema, some of the things that you think you have seen. And I brought up this question of generations, right? What has actually been a very, very telling, very defining kind of habit that has sort of stayed with women across generations? Because while we do see women who have probably the younger lot who have actually seen a different kind of upbringing, maybe there are more confident women out there, more people who are willing to take those risks, who are not that self-doubting perhaps, but there are still those certain qualities that still seem to be plaguing uh, the careers, and especially when it comes to taking making those difficult choices during those moments in their career journey, where they have to take those decisions at those times, and it still are those inherent qualities that are stopping them from making those bold decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, over to you, Hema.
First of all, thank you so much for having me on this session. Hey, nice meeting you, Munira. And thanks a ton, Rashmi, for hosting this quite well. And on that note, before I could give you my point of view, I would like to give a little bit of stats, right? So let's touch base on one important stats where we have about 2000 odd NSE listing companies, and out of which you would actually see that 100 of them have women chief on for them, right, to run the show. Now that's roughly 5%. Now, should we look at it like, if we're not getting there, or should we look at the positive side of things? To me, I'm looking at it very positively. The reason why I'm looking at positively is across the globe there is some shift. There are people who are trying to break barrier. There are women who are trying to break barrier. We are trying to come out of the shell, and that reflects in our numbers, right? Let's say in India itself, out of the 500 nifty companies, in 2014 we had about close to single digit women holding the fort, and now you would see double digit coming in. We moved to
Absolutely.
14% in the last 5 years, and now we are about 17%. To me, I think by itself is it is positive. Now, are we at a pace that we want to be? Definitely not, right? So I'm picking cues from whatever Munira spoke and whatever all of us are going through as individuals, as women in the society, right? To me, my point of view is the biggest habit, or rather, the core habit is the nature of acceptance. I'll tell
Okay.
you why acceptance as a habit as somehow made an impact on all of our career growth, right? As early as we all belong to a very value driven tradition, Indians especially, we have a beautiful tradition, we have beautiful habits that we carry towards. At the same time, you would have always seen that there are certain things that is told to us as part of our bottom, right? Which is one of the point that Monira made. Now, you would actually still find parents saying that, hey, women you play kitchen set, and men you actually probably play with guns and probably cars and the likes, right? uh, the boys, when they actually ask for kitchen set, parents do go back and say, hey, are you a girl? Why do you want to do that? So I am in fact not saying it's men or women, but I pretty much feel that somebody has always been instilling some thought in us, saying that we are very very important for the family. We are the people who are actually supposed to be holding the fort in family, and hence there are certain compromises that you can always make. So I think the habit of acceptance throughout the generation, we've seen our grandparents, we've seen our mothers, we're looking at ourselves, right, at a very early stage in our career too. Now what we have given back to the society is, my point of view again is, at one end we've told and we are telling people that women are not for long work hours, women are
Mhm.
not for growth, women are not for complex jobs, probably because you know what, they need more importance at home. So corporates, organizations, companies believe that giving complex job to a woman means we are either hurting her. I'm talking very positively, okay? There could be a complete bias to it from a negative standpoint, but I'm looking at it and taking at it very positively, thinking that corporates are doing it because you know what. Let's take care of our women, so let's not give them a very complex job. Let's not let's assume that they have a dream but they also have a family, and hence let's allow the men to do the complex ones. I'm looking at it very positively, okay? But whether you like it or not, we're building a syndrome where long working hours, doing just complex jobs, and being able to travel. I'm telling you, as simple as if you can't travel, you can't be a salesperson. If you can't do this complex job, you can't stay late night, then you're not getting there. So
Absolutely.
at one end, there are corporates who are assuming they're taking care of us positively. I'm not looking at the negative side of things. And at the other end, we have accepted the fact that we are not meant to be for that. And what have we made
Absolutely.
as a conclusion? We are concluding saying that long hours, being able to travel, being flexible is all about, is the only way to growth. And on the other end, the growth of women is already stalled, right? It's to me, I feel it's a social defense system that's so insidious, that's been carried all throughout the generation. And whether we like it or not, we are also a prey for it. So I think that's where we have to hit the core and figure out what we have to do, reflect upon where we stand. Is that acceptance? Acceptance is never what I like, right? Acceptance is about I accept it. I don't know whether I like it, I want it, do I really want to do it, but I accept it the way it is because it is how the entire design is made to be. So being self-aware, being reflecting upon this point is extremely important. I think that's the biggest, in my opinion, the core of or the root cause for what we are today.
Lovely. I think you hit the nail on its head when you said, women tend to accept and adherence of sorts. That's what you mean when you say that. And there are so many things. I think we have read so many of these books on habit creation, be it Atomic Habits, or one of few of those books that really talk about this in depth, scientifically too. And that's so true that we all try to fit in. We all tend to fit in as humans. It's not just for women, but tend to fit in, try to fit in wherever we are, in whichever atmosphere we grow, wherever we are, led. So that is something that takes a lot of conscious effort, I'm sure, to really be aware, first of all, that this is something that we are doing, even unknowingly sometimes. And as part of growing up, you have done it when at a time when it was not under your control as much as you would like it to have been. So I think that's a beautiful point you made, Hema. Adherence that comes naturally to people, and what women, therefore, have gone through in whatever number of centuries that we've been going through this. But then I'm sure that we still talk about things that are under our control, right? Even in especially in times of where technology has taken things to a level playing field, if we can call it that, mm, where knowing how to use technology or how to use tools can still, get you to places rather than, and I'm not saying that you should be a coder, but whatever level of, technical know-how that you can master can actually lead you to making great careers, no matter what your gender is or where you come from. So those are times we live in. So but do we really use it? Are we even aware of what is under our control? And what is it that we can take into our hands and break those, very self-limiting habits of adherence, if I can call it that, that Hema talked about. Munira, your views on that? How to take control of things that you have control on, first of all, understanding what those are, and really playing to your strengths. So could you elaborate on those?
I think one is take control of your work. You know, you need to bring that confidence, and you need and women actually have can do multiple things. I mean, at home, I mean, I'm working, I know what's happening at my home and my what my mother needs, what my sister needs, what my nephews want, what my boss wants, what my team wants, and I can manage all of that, right? Are we self contained, or are we self of do we have self affirmation that yes, we can do a lot of things? I think if you can actually break that, and if you know that yes, we are, have that confidence that yes, we, and take that be an advocate for yourself. It's really important that you are your own advocate and you take charge of what you're doing. Not, there's a saying that it's, if it's not okay, say it's not okay, don't say okay. And I think women tend to say okay to things, even if it's not okay.
Absolutely,
So the
absolutely,
moment you come back and say that yes, you are taking a charge of your own career, your own self, whether personal, professional, and you are advocating for yourself, I think that will play a big role in moving your habits to the next level, right? And I think it's about also taking credit of your achievements. Here, usually women downplay. They don't
absolutely.
end up
That's the
taking credit.
truest of statements.
Yes, they
Yeah,
completely downplay their success. They downplay their achievements, and and that just hinders in building visibility and credibility. So just take that
absolutely,
credit, talk about your achievements, showcase your good work that you're doing. I think all of those will help you break the habits that we have inculcated. Men have habits too. I mean, those are not good, good, not good,
absolutely.
and all
Yeah,
that. But today,
absolutely,
when we're talking about women, and we know what kind of habits we have, right? So I keep telling this to myself also. Yes, it's okay to say it's not okay. I keep saying this to myself as well. So I think those are certain things that we need to look at, and also you need to have your eyes and ears open for opportunities and do not miss that battle. I mean, I feel like, we always say that, oh yes, we can do it later, we will. It's a part of negotiations, right? Like if you're good at negotiations, we may come across as, oh my god, you're very aggressive. I was talking this morning with someone and said, oh, that, and I was telling this one colleague of mine, just giving you a story here. A colleague of mine,
absolutely. Would
there
love
is
that.
this one lady, she's at a very senior level in the organization. And I said, she's quite a great person to interact with. She's very nice to talk to. She's like, yeah, but she's a very strong lady. I was like, in what sense? She's like, yeah, she wanted a particular role. And she said, if I don't get this role, I will not move ahead. And I said, that's a great thing to have. And women
Absolutely,
talking like that, I mean, women saying that, okay, you termed as very strong, you termed as very aggressive and all of that. I think we need to get out of those areas. And if we can, have control and advocate on our achievements and our work, then I think it will just help us to be at a better place. Help us to
absolutely.
move that needle and go to a level that yes, we don't need a support from a man to take a charge and sponsor. When we keep talking about getting sponsors and being sponsors and all of that, we don't need somebody else to sponsor. We can self do it ourselves. So yeah, that is my take on this one.
Great points there, Munira, and love the way you brought that whole patriarchy bit, in where it is true. It is true that even women think that way, and I don't think it is gender specific or it is gender agnostic. In fact, how we think about roles of that women should play and men should play, it's been on, and everybody, that everybody has an opinion. A kid has an opinion, everybody has an opinion on that. So I'm sure that's going to take a lot of hard work from our end, specifically, to break those mindsets. But coming back to what control do women themselves have, I'm sure both of you have had uh, you know have had that journey in your own lives. You've been, you know you have been part of the same society. We all live in the same kind of society, and you've been hearing all those things as you grew up. What are those few things that you probably have mastered by now, that has made you you know reflect on your own self-limiting habits, and what are those habits? We would really like to know what are those self-limiting habits that you've really, broken by now, and how did you do it? I would like both of you to actually talk about it. If you can start with Hema.
Uh, very, very interesting question, Rashmi. So let me put it this way, right? The broken rung remains broken. You can't get up the ladder uh, anywhere closer to the effort that the other gender puts in to get up the ladder. Now it's like you have to put 2x or 3x the effort to get up there. Now will you get there? Trust me, we can make it. It's all within us than anything else, right? Now I don't hope to make that change or bring in or influence to change someone else, but I strongly believe it's completely within. And I make this statement not based on very, it's not a gyan that I can promise. Okay, because we've been through, we all know, be it Indra Nui, just I just read her autobiography, I'm like, wow, she's up there. And then when you read the autobiography, you get to understand that she's been through the syndrome of, hey, you were not paid well as a woman. Hey, I have to work a lot more than anyone else to get up there. So the choices are something that we make, and we need to understand that how do we manage this very well. It's a fine balance. It's a definition between want and the need. So you need to know how to define that, right? The most important thing, I'll just give you a few examples of what I've been through of this entire imposter syndrome that eventually I wanted to get rid of over a period of time. I come from a
Mhm.
very conventional background. When I say very conventional, a very beautiful family, where I was born and brought up in a very traditional middle class family where parents insisted that education is important. That's how it has to happen. And over a period of time, when you get into career, there are always people making comments about you. Hey, you can't code, you can't survive, right? We're like,
Absolutely.
okay, so how do we go about this? One thing that kept me going within is one day I will make a difference. But that time I was very aggressive. I wanted to prove people around me saying that, hey, I can do it, right? Let me get into a BPO job. There are days when you let go of tears on your avaya saying that, where am I sitting after doing so much of studies? Am I doing the right thing? But the intent of doing that job right at that point with a lot of hard work, even if it means 2x work, it did make a difference. I did grow in less than 2 years time, right? In less than 2 years time, I was actually driving a 60-member team at a firm that is so huge. And what made the difference is I didn't give up. I was working very hard. The intentions were good. So I thought, yeah, I think this formula is working. Then I moved to the next phase of my career where I had a women leader, very beautiful women leader. I kept telling her, hey, you know what? You continue to tap my back, you will see I grow. And while I was doing my job, I continued to actually tell her, tell me something. I don't understand what you do with your mailbox. We are the guys who do all the hard work, right? And I wonder what you do with your mailbox, responding to emails, which is what we do most of the time now. But I kept telling her that. And there was a level of curiosity. She took the time to teach us. She took the time to tell what she does. So I think asking somebody to own you is something that's not
Absolutely.
going to happen. You better go and ask yourself to be owned by someone. Tell them that you want to
That's
do
a
this.
very amazing way of looking at it.
Yeah, stay curious, what's wrong in that. So that actually helped me in the last 10-15 years. What I always did is, hey boss, you step back. I might fail in this, but let me give it a try. Now I didn't keep any rationale behind it. I didn't say that, hey, you know what, when I finish this, give me this. No, I didn't ask anything for that. That really helped. The
Mm,
way I did it
mm,
is, I stayed curious. I picked my first formula of doing the hard work with the right intention. Then I stayed curious. The third part that I realized was a decision that I wanted to take. I wanted to stay relevant. Probably 10 years back, when I wanted to move from whatever I was doing, I said, hey, e-commerce digital is the new space. Let me give it a try. it's okay if it's a small company or a big company. Let's go ahead and see what happens there. But that was game changing for me, definitely game changing, because I wanted to stay relevant. And on that note, I would love to share my point of view on relevance too, right? Today,
Yes.
the whole buzzword of generative AI, so on and so forth, is coming in. Will I lose my job? Is that something that I have to catch up very quickly? Trust me, it is very nascent, and all of them are exploring, right from McKinsey's of the world to the last company ground at the ground. We as an organization do that quite well. We're all exploring, and I think we have to be part of the nascent and exploring stage. Nothing is going to go away. There's going to be a paradigm shift in the way things are going to be running, right? For example, maybe you will never find a job like an operations team running it, but you will have some other job. But all that I'm trying to say is staying relevant is extremely important. And that is something come it doesn't come with somebody will put in a job post and I go and apply for that job. Doesn't work that way. I get a penny today, I need that penny plus X. It doesn't work that way. You are constantly looking within to say, am I staying relevant? 40 years or 10 years down the line, let's forget about 40 years, 10 years down the line, would I look back to see I've taken the right steps in this journey? I think that is what matters more, right? And this is one point that I kept going. And another thing is, in this entire journey of imposter, as simple as during your school days, you would have gone and told your dad, hey dad, I got 98. Then one of my friends' his dad would say, where is the 2 marks, right? So
Absolutely.
there's
I
always
relate to that.
yeah. Adding to that, keep minor goals is what I would say. I defined a small goal for myself. I wouldn't say success. I said I would become a manager first before I get married, and I did whatever I could to make sure that I achieved the goal, and only then I married. So what we do is we are already setting the stage for our spouses to say, "Hey, you're marrying someone who's very aspirational, who have goals in their life, who knows what it means to what do I say, to navigate things, but she's still lovable. She's still the woman I want to be with." I think the expectation starts from probably day minus 10 or a year, right? So that's where you start building your family. That's where you take them along. You don't have to balance. I am at a point where I think there is no concept of work and life. I have 24 hours in a day. I probably spend most time at work during the weekdays and a little bit to the family. But over the weekend, I spend more time. I take my time off. There's one life, and I think it's important to play it very very well. And corporate politics, work politics, it's going to be there. And I'm using the word deserving women because you can't say that you are the only gender that's suffering, right? There's always bias. There's some undefined and unknown bias that's always happening. So deserving women should be self aware, should have their eyes and ears open, should be aware of what's happening politically, but you don't necessarily have to be involved in it. So I think these have helped me over a period of time, Rashmi. And honestly, this is what I keep telling my girls who come to the cabin and say, "Hey, Emma, I want to be something like you." And I say, the first thing is, if you can say a no, if you can allow people to judge you but still not impact you, and if you can get to a point where you don't want to be a superwoman, then come to me. I'm not going to back.
Awesome.
I'm not going to listen to your family stories, right? Who wants to listen to our family stories? The moment you give more information to the crowd around you saying that you're handling something big, it's going to be painful, it's an unnecessary information gossip that you're giving back to the society, right? You like it or not, we are all in a career path. We are all wanting to get up to the ladder. And I'm sure anybody who's broken the barrier at every phase would have learned something that is making a difference. I think that is what
Absolutely.
matters today. I know I'm taking a little more time, but I'm just wanting to close it here. I think I'm very satisfied about the fact that the success is not a definition of goal, a title or whatsoever. That's more a goal. But I think it's a self satisfaction that, hey, I'm resilient toward anything that comes my way. That is what makes us very special. And I'm requesting all my peers, all my friends around, women friends around, very deserving people, to pick few of these thoughts. It helped me a lot, and I'm sure I'm sure it's going to help all of us.
So many things to unpack there, Hema. So many points that you have been, able to communicate in this time that you took. But then, uh, one of the things that really stayed with me, many I have made note of, but one of the things that you seem to be coming back on is that habit of that you have built of making a list of intentional list, right? A list of things that you will work for. It's not something just that you restrict to a daily list. These are lists of things that you achieve over a period of time. It takes a lot to be stayed focused on, making sure it happens to you. But that clarity that a list brings, clarity that a intentional uh, you know line brings, like you make sure that you stick to it for the rest of your life till it happens. That's a very, very important point. Something that we always talk about in our uh, workshops too at Avtar, on intentional career pathing for women, that you need to be intentional if you need to break barriers, if at all there is anything that it all starts with. It is your intentionality, it is what you want to do, and your focus on that. Very, very strong points there, Hema. Thank you so much for that. Like I said, lot to unpack. I'm sure we're going to go back and rewind and listen to that once more to make sure we got all that right. Munira, over to you. I'm sure that you have been mentoring, or at least seeing a lot of younger women who, probably like just how Hema said, come to your cabin and sort of look for help. Have you seen over a period of time some very successful stories that probably you played a part in breaking their, self-limiting habits, but also seen them naturally also do that to themselves and grow? Any inspiring anecdotes that you could probably in your own
Yes,
life, perhaps? I just leave it to you.
yes. Thank you, Rashmi. And it was lovely listening to what Hema said in the last question. It was just really nice. I was quite encouraged and motivated by what Hema you spoke about. So that was really good. And thank you for that. Yes, of course. I've seen success stories within youngsters, within, girls who've come, joined, and I've been very fortunate to have mentored or have in my team college pass outs direct. So, and I've seen them grow, right? Like right now, they're working in different organizations. While I'm in different organizations, they've been in different organizations, and they're growing, and the way they've turned their entire journey as to where they were and where they are right now. I feel at least if 5% of it I have put in effort and have helped them, I think that is something that I have achieved for myself. But coming back to whatever Hema spoke about, and talking about my own career, yeah, I've been a person who's taken risks. I mean, if you get to know me, you'll know. Okay, when Munira has been all over the place. I've right from school. I have I took up science as a background. I got into engineering. I just took up areas. I wanted to be a medical. I wanted to get into medicine, but I didn't want to be a dentist. I got dentistry. Then I moved to engineering. Then from engineering, I got into business management. So I have taken up challenges and areas which I've ventured into, which I had no clue about, right? And that's something I think I'm very proud of. That yes, I've always ventured into areas which are new to me. Even at a very early age, at I think I was 21, I started my own business, because that is something I worked for 1 year, and I thought, if I could work like this for 1 year, I can do the same thing of my own business. So I did my own business there, did phenomenally well. It was right at its peak, and I decided, no, I want to further pursue my education. I moved for another career, and I have always been I've always considered myself ahead of my experience and my age, or whatever that is. I've always considered myself like that. Even when I was a fresher, I would not consider myself as fresher, while people around me may have. But I, as my own self, didn't feel like, yes, I'm very new to this. And I think that changes the way you work, right? That changes your mind. because you are always doing things ahead of what you are. And eventually, people around you start taking you in seriously and start taking you as somebody the who who has the command and the power to make change. And that's how my entire journey has been. From start, I've moved roles, I've moved into projects which have been so new, getting into chatbot, getting into AI, getting into global policies, which I didn't know what employment laws in different countries are, but yes, I want to do it. That's how diversity also came in with me. When we were just talking about D&I, and I was like, yes, I want to do it. I will get into it without having without having any knowledge about it, without having any background. I ventured into it a few years back. But yes, what kept me going is, one is, of course, the whole thing of taking challenge and risk, and that comes from my mother. And I'm telling you, women are very powerful. My mother is phenomenal. She takes these challenges, which I feel like, okay, nobody can do this. Why are you getting into it? But yeah, even till now, she's 64, I think now, and she's just like, yes, I will do it. I want to climb Mount Everest, things like that. But and I think that kept me going, right? And I think today's generation is also like that. I think the Generation Z is all about that. They want to seek new projects. They want to get into new things. As 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 us leaders, or as an organization, or anybody, as mid managers or senior, we need to give that forum for them. We need to give them that platform to showcase their potential, because when I interact with them, I see, yes, yes, I want to do this, we can do this, and their ideas are so amazing. Right? They use technology, they use this chat GPT like this. And I mean, without having any background, without having understanding, they are in it completely. And I think women, I mean, men or women for that matter, younger generations are all about taking up new challenges. And I think I see myself in them. And and if we can provide such platforms, and I have seen people grow like that. I've seen women or men, my juniors, who've gone to another level and are working as senior people in other organizations. It just makes me proud, because I think I gave them what I wanted and what I also got, right? And I think that is something, if we can do, if we can provide to girls, young talent, especially girls, because they have their potential. They just need the avenue to explore their potential.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Munira. I think you're doing a great job of, mentoring so many young girls, and just seeing your passion, talking about them was so beautiful. Thank you for that. And because I think one thing that you mentioned about, in the beginning, you talked about this, that women do find taking risks a big uh, self-limiting, habit, that they do not take risks. And you being somebody who has been doing it all your life, and that's inspirational. In fact, something that we all, I think, can agree is that times are definitely, supportive of everybody's growth, for everybody's growth, and women should seize this opportunity to, if at all there is any time that was there in the history, it is now that we can break those barriers within ourselves and really come out to build beautiful careers for ourselves. Some Since we are towards the closing of this beautiful session, I would like to get some closing remarks, maybe a couple of very motivating lines for women who have been told since their young days, since they were children. I'm sure boys were told to be good boys, but what it means to be a good girl has been such a self limiting, a thought which has, I think, engulfed generations. And is there anything that you would like to say in probably a couple of sentences that you would like to tell women about that particular syndrome that has been, limiting us for so long? If they can break it with your, powerful thoughts. Over to you, Hema.
Uh, I'll quickly summarize it, probably adding to whatever I've been talking about right now. We are very beautiful, and we need to believe that, right? So I'll tell you, don't try to be a superwoman. It's okay to let go. You're not rewarded for being a superwoman. You probably are taking toll on your health and your mental self. So don't try to be a superwoman. I tried it, and I'm proud to say I failed. And and there's nothing wrong in it. If you're being judged, that's perfectly fine. So another thing is never have misplaced compassion. As women,
Mm,
we always have a, a thinking for others first than ours. My boss didn't give me a complex job because he thought that I would rather do better in this regular stuff. I'm sorry. I think we're just taking compassion to the next league, right? Compassion comes in when you understand others' suffering, but you cannot do it on a battlefield. Pick your battles, and it is meant to be fought, and it is never to be given up
okay.
because you somebody told you that this is how it has to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so never have
Very powerful. Very
misplaced
powerful,
compassion.
Hema.
And my summary to all our fellow women leaders, very deserving women, very young girls who are trying to do something but do not know where to go, uh, pick a beautiful mentor for you who's really thinking for you. Mentorship really helps. We don't grow just like that. We always had, be it family, be it at home, be it at among friends. Mentors are the best thing that we get. Choose the right mentor, hear them out, do not follow. Think for yourself.
Mm,
You never know what is your strength unless you look at it, right? So
absolutely.
staying relevant, being aware, being introspecting, taking a pause, introspecting and saying, is it worth my time? I think these are things that you have to do. And most importantly, let's make sure we have the core ethics. That's the beauty of women. We have been through pandemic, we've done multiple shifts within our family, within balancing work and life and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
It is a sign of being resilient. Don't give it up for somebody to use it. Just wake up to see what you're good at and start looking at it.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
my two
Thanks.
cents to all of our beautiful women.
More than 2 cents, Hema, I must add. Munira, your closing remarks.
Uh, I have in the industry that I am in, it's very male dominated, right? I mean, we see very few women in BFSI. And what I see is women who are in BFSI and they've been in the industry for many years. I see one thing, which is they 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 have this whole they change a little, they become like a man. So I think to the young women, I want to say that keep your feminine side on yourself. You know, you will be in a society which is male dominated. Corporate is that, and we will take many years to get to gender balance, right? Until then, I mean, do not let go of your feminine side. You bring, as in, we bring a lot on the table being a woman. Just because we have men around us,
Absolutely.
we don't have to turn our attitude and be like a man to get work
Absolutely.
done. And I think that is something which is so important for us to keep. I keep telling this even during my internal discussions with my young women, colleagues, that keep your feminine side with you, because that is the difference that you bring in the
Absolutely.
organization. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that would be something. And of course, be very confident in your work and take, like I initially also mentioned, I think one another thing which I continue to see is women do not take their uh, take advocate on their achievements. They do not.
Yes,
And
yes,
we just always downplay. We should continue to talk about our achievements, take those achievements, be proud of it, wear it on your shoulder, wear it on your chin, and be happy with that. Yes, you have achieved it. And it's not about the bigger task, right? Always it's all about, yes, I want to get this whole project done, and until I get the project, I am not going to celebrate. No, break that down. Celebrate smaller tasks. eventually you will get to the end goal as well, but keep celebrating, because that will keep motivating you and encouraging you to move ahead. So I would say, break that, don't overwhelm yourself, and yes, and believe in yourself.
Awesome, awesome. Munira, no, so many points that, especially the feminine aspect that you spoke about, lots of thoughts there. For me personally, it's a very huge, thing that I talk about too, and maybe for another day's discussion, uh, another day's, panel discussion, that we can bring that topic up and we can all again get together to discuss. Beautiful points. Thank you so much, Hema and Munira, for having, shared all those thoughts, shared your perspectives, and brought in so many insights. I'm sure our women audience here have gained a lot of insights from this discussion. Thank you so much once again. And also to our session sponsor, Aditya Birla Capital, for this wonderful opportunity. Back to you, Manasa. Thank you.